Joe Rosenthal. From his flagship, surrounded by admiring Marines of the ship's detachment, General Griner proudly displays the wired photograph depicting the flag-raising scene to anxious reporters. This photograph will become famous as a symbol of Army spirit and a can-do attitude.
Small, isn't it? Lucky we had General Reserve. We own more. He was rapid fire military, 48 in 1867, right after the Civil War. All Louisiana was destitute. In the year in LSU, went to the Naval Academy, LSU, and Tigers here. Anyway, in a year at the Naval, he went to the Naval Academy, graduated in class of 1888, and he was in the top 5 midshipmen of his class. And would you believe you weren't allowed to be a Marine if you're top 5? You had to go to naval engineering. So they assigned him as an ensign in naval engineering. But in those days, you graduated from the academy. You did not get commissioned. You got your degree. You went 2 years more as a midshipman. At the end of that, they gave you a $1,000 severance, or they made you a second lieutenant Marines or an ensign in the Navy. So he was assigned naval engineering. And for the next 2 years, John Archer Luzerne had a quality that triumphs over everything. It starts with a D. Did anybody tell me the name of that one quality that triumphs everything over everything?
Dedication.
Determination, right. He wrote his congressmen, his senators, his governor, everybody could for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, the senator from Louisiana took him into the Secretary of Navy. The Secretary of Navy was worn out, said, if the Marine Corps wants you, we'll let you go. And that was very critical in our history. A long story career. Cuba, Cuba, saved the Panama Canal, fought in the Battle of Veracruz in Mexico. Finally, after a long story career, he comes back to D.C. as a 1-star general. 1917, and they offered a chance to be commandant. He turned it down because he had known General Pershing. World War I's going on, and he had been the first Marine to go to the Army War College. First Marine to do a lot of things. He went to France without a job. He lands. General Pershing gives him a 2nd star and puts him in charge of the Marine Brigade and the 2nd Army Division. First Marine to have a division in combat. General Luzerne continued to do all these incredible things. He divided his forces. He won every battle. He won the last battle going right up to the Armistice Day. He set a record. In fact, when they ran out of chow, he's the senior Marine. He went to the rear of the chow line. He set a standard that Marines take care of their own first. In fact, I think, Colonel, I think you were 2nd lieutenant at that same chow line.
Old, sir, but I don't know about that.
Anyway, he comes home, Marines are big heroes, Nolan Woods, etc. And the parades for him and everything. The Army Chief of Staff, you're not going to believe this, he makes a vow to shut down the Marine Corps. And he says, ready for this vow? You're probably there. He says, everybody thought they're good enough to reapply to the Army. Then Luzerne came back and became the 13th Commandant for 3 tours, 9 years, and he took umbrage with that. He stalked the passageways of Congress. These are things that we enjoy today, but not for the primary purpose of proselytizing the Marines. As General Krulak's dad said, America doesn't need a Marine Corps, we want one. He created the precursors to the Sunset Parades. He created the schools at 8th and I. He created the precursor to amphibious warfare. He created the Marine Corps Association, the Marine Corps League, the colors, the 10th of November, you name it. He created what legacy we have today. I was in North Carolina a couple weeks ago for a funeral, and there was a lot of people in town there who don't speak Luzerne correctly, but about half the Marines are there who's doing it now. One of the Marine Corporal named Monahan said to me, you know, I don't care if everybody in the city is saying it wrong, and I don't care if half the Marines are saying it wrong, I want to have the courage and respect to say that and stay correct. That's what we should have. I was requiring you, but I want you to focus on it. Now, we're going to okay. General Neller and some other key officers are very concerned about losing too many Marines. Sergeant Major Mike Van Posen, in this very room, part of the IG force, the Marine Corps, said that in 2014 we had 935 Marines discharged for alcohol and drug discharges. 50 over 1,000. This last year, we had 120 active duty Marines killed. One in combat, all the rest were motorcycles, drunk driving, suicide. Really sad waste. We've got to start taking better care of each other. So now, General Dell was talking to me on this subject. One of the Marines said, you know, it's part of our culture. And we're hard-fighting, hard-drinking guys from the province. We were born in a tavern. General Dell says, we might have been born in a tavern, but we don't have to die in it. Part of our culture, but our culture, heavy drinking needs some remedial action. I'll share something with you personally. The San Logan Smiling, the coward was roommate, he was a submariner, wasn't an alcoholic, he was been shredded, went off his sports, mid-30s, went off, went to San Diego sports car. Have you ever heard before coming out of the Marine Corps? Don't begin. From Dublin, Ireland. Came as a enlisted Marine, was a tough fighter in North Africa, short war with France, kept getting awards. Came back to 89 as a young officer, and some Navy officer was abusing a Marine sentry at Marine Barracks. After he was so upset with the Marine, he had to put in irons in the brig. When Anthony Gale heard about this, Lieutenant Gale went up to that Navy officer, he slapped him, challenged him to a duel. The next morning, he killed him in a fair fight. He's put up for a court-martial. Commandant Marine Corps named Barrows, he acquitted him and said, maybe the Navy in the future will learn to respect Marine officers more. But does anybody know what we do on every commandant's, on the 10th November, to every commandant's gravesite? Anybody know? We put a wreath there. This is the only one we don't, because he went into obscurity in Kentucky. And we have several people now doing little promos to make sure we start taking better care of each other. Anybody know who Gomer Pyle is? James not here.
Go all the way. Marines, protect what you've earned. It's about Marines taking care of Marines.
Look at this. Does anybody know what a balance sheet is? The balance sheet has two components. Anybody know what they are? Assets and liabilities. That's what your life is. Assets, decor, friends, long-term future. Liabilities, binge drinking. Binge drinking kills the neurons in your frontal lobe. I'm an Irishman, so I have a hard time with 7 syllables, but exiotoxicity is where you have the aggregate damage from binge drinking. It keeps adding up. For instance, when you go on the beach and you have severe suntan when you're young, that will someday be skin cancer. It all adds up. There's nothing good about binge drinking. Does anybody know what enabling means? No one? That's what I probably do with my buddy Nick. But think of all the things that are brain damage, stroke, psychiatric disorder, shorter life, divorce. It goes on and on. It's the job of the NCOs and fellow Marines to make sure this stops. And the theme basically is you gotta start taking care of each other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, I have a friend of mine who was a magna cum laude graduate of a small school in northern Indiana, same school that Angelo Bertelli went to. It's a good sports program. And he's a PhD psychiatrist here in town. I'd like to say a couple words.
Thank you, Frank. Actually, I'm a scientist, not a psychologist. But I am actually thrilled to be here. And that's not a politically correct word. I only say what I really mean. I'm very honored. So thank you for this opportunity. I want to tell you, basically, I'm going to reinforce some of the things that Mr. Brent has talked about in terms of drinking. in a way that will help you remember them. So, remember the term 10 Sierra. So 10. Someone who has problem drinking, on average, loses 10 years of their life. They also have 10 times the risk of stroke. And finally, if you or anyone takes 10 drinks once or twice a month, that's considered binge drinking. And guess what's different about binge drinking? With binge drinking, it immediately damages your brain. A lot of other things gradually pile up damage on your brain. But binge drinking, you do 1 or 2 a month, it permanently damages your brain. And the word you're trying to talk about is excitotoxicity. Namely, some of the chemicals in your brain get all fired up and damage your brain. So that's the 10s. And then there are some S as in Sierra, that are very important and useful to remember and hopefully avoid. One is spousal abuse. You get arrested for that now. It probably makes you not a very good candidate for the next possible spouse. They hear you were spousal abuse. Another one is unsafe sex. You know about driving, but if someone gets drunk and they're willing to have sex with whoever's there, dangerously, they're at risk of getting what's called a STD, a sexually transmitted disorder like gonorrhea or syphilis, or making them pregnant or getting pregnant yourself. And also, then if those things keep piling up, there is separation and divorce. You really want to have a divorce from your partner who will then go on and marry someone who has better control of their alcohol, even though they won't be as good looking as a Marine. They will have better control of their alcohol. Then there's something, sudden death. You don't expect sudden death with the stroke, right? But if someone gets on a binge can go hours or days or weeks. Then gradually these chemicals pile up, and now there can actually be sudden death. Another version starting with an S, of course, is suicide. We hear a lot about a lot of suicides in the military, all branches. And one of the things that contributes to that, of course, is if they've been drinking for a long time, losing jobs, losing partners, losing marriages, losing money, and they kind of give up and try suicide. And so, if you read the paper about discharging people, there's a lot of suicides from the military. Suicides, sudden death, and stroke. So those are all risks that you would end up taking with drinking or binge drinking. Now, what do you do if you see somebody, a colleague or a friend, and you see them drinking too much? Well, the usual thing that people do is nothing. They think the friendly way to be with them is just to let it pass. That's the least friendly thing you can do because you're enabling them. As Brent pointed out, you're helping them continue their bad habits. So you want to tell them about it. How do you do that? In a way that's not too hard or when you or them. As long as you get something. You go to them and you say, are you aware that your heavy drinking and binge drinking puts you at high risk for stroke and losing 10 years of your life? You put that question to them in a way that hopefully they will ponder it and really think seriously about it. So those are the 6 S's and the 3 N's that I want you to remember. And so the other thing is, we're going to stop and go back. really appreciate all this, and Central Today.
General Zeller sent me an email a couple weeks ago, and we'll read the excerpts from it. General Zeller's first part, we'll read writing a letter to a Marine widow.
From General Miller. I have no idea if we will have any success in changing our culture, attitude, behavior. We're going to give it our best shot. Each Marine and sailor has to decide for him or herself what path to follow, and we're going to count on them, seeing and following the right path.
The widow wrote a letter back to him.
My husband's best friend happened to be serving with him and volunteered to do my notifications. I just told Marine on Friday in Henderson Hall, Virginia. I know that Fonson every single day having to knock on my door that morning and tell me that my husband was killed while standing on duty, that my husband, who had deployed repeatedly to a trained dangerously and always come home safely, was killed by one just like you and me. Marine Commandant offers blood talk and alcohol. Davis spoke at a town hall held by Marine Corps Commandant General Robert Miller, who showed a picture of her husband to all this. It's so important to me that you guys realize that this is not just a picture, she said. This isn't just a story from the movie. This Marine has 2 children. He has a little boy who will never have his dad teach him how to ride a bike because of his selfish act. He has a little girl who will never have her dad walking down the aisle. He left behind hundreds of Marines who led with him, who served him.
Think about it. The boy will never have his dad teach him how to ride a bike. Thanks to my introduction and some of the VIPs here, I've known a great number of people in the business world, corporate world, sports world, military. And you know what? They all had one thing in common. You know what it was? None of them were binge drinkers. None of them. Think about it. Boot camp, all your training programs, schools, everything, for one stupid moment, wasted.